What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to me helping you become a better Archero player. I really don't know what the name of this series is going to be. I guess that's it. I don't know. Today we're going to dive into the Storm Desert. I actually never realized how weird of a name that is to say out loud. I actually never realized how weird of a name that is to say out loud. Storm Desert. Not Desert Storm. Not. That doesn't actually really make much sense. Whereas the first stage does. Verdant Prairie, but Storm Desert. I don't know. Anyway, I'm thinking too much about this. So in the last video, I not only went over my gear, I also went over all the enemy types that are in the first world, the bosses, the skills, a little bit as they came available, the new ones, so I won't be replicating similar things that we see again. If you want to see like more detailed description about that stuff, watch the previous video. I'll link it somewhere here so you can check that out. But this is going to be hopefully much quicker, much more efficient, and I get to actually have a little bit more fun because now you understand my gear, you understand the basics of the game, and so we can just dive into these new enemy types that are in Storm Desert, which is where the game starts to get a little bit trickier moving on, and it gets harder and harder and harder, progressively so. So I haven't collected my treasure or whatever, so I'm not going to do that for this video. I can do that when I'm not recording, but let's just jump right into Storm Desert. So this is the first stage that you're going to see where the actual roulette wheel, I know I called it a spinny wheel last video, that's actually kind of funny. The roulette wheel makes its appearance, and it makes its appearance from then on forth. So I have max level 2 glory, so of course I get the skill set. Shield Guard is new, we didn't get it last game, so Shield Guard, very invaluable defensive tool because it can block projectiles. It's the only circular spell / talent that I would recommend getting, and then just peruse it as your strategy dictates. I don't need Shield Guard. This is level 2 and my gear is overpowered, as is my skills, so don't need that. But I'm gonna go with multi-shot. So we already know what these skills are, so I'm gonna do multi-shot. Allows me to hit more enemies quicker. It's double the damage. But Shield Guard, basically floating shields, it absorbs a projectile. It does not really absorb a melee walking into you, though. So yeah, we're gonna do multi-shot, and this stage has a couple of interesting enemies. Okay, so this is the first introduction of the spiders. There's two types of spiders. There's the blue spiders, which they're more aggressive and they kind of try and get closer to you. And then there's the red spiders, which I think are later in this world, and they shoot projectiles in a not a diagonal pattern, but I want to say, like where if the wannabe Dooku trees, the green ones, are like a cross shape, they're that shape twisted to the side. I can't think. I have no brain apparently. So that would be like a non-diagonal kind of shape, essentially. Anyway, we leveled up. Two things happened in this stage. We have diagonal arrows, holy touch, and bolt circle. For my setup that I'm going to run this round, I'm not going to be doing holy touch or bolt circle. In fact, I would never do those because I think they're terrible. I explained last episode, but just to summarize, holy touch is really bad because it creates a lot of screen clutter where there's too many bullets on the screen, and then you're just not going to know what is your ammunition and what is the enemies, and so it's harder for you to dodge, and then you'll end up dying quicker. And then bolt circle, if you're playing this game right, you're not trying to get close to enemies, and that's essentially what you need to do, is get close to enemies to be able to hurt them. Now, I think it's after beating World 1 that the bolt circle, poison circle, and all those circles become available. So if you're just starting on World 1, you're not going to have bolt circle anyway. So I'm going to go with diagonal arrows. Now, the enemies that we encounter on the stage is the snakes. Now, get used to these snakes because they're going to come in all forms later on throughout the game. You're going to see them in all types. But the red snakes, They like to dive underground. When they're underground, you can't target them and you can't hurt them. Although they will take remittent burn damage still for a few extra seconds. But they burrow underground, they pop up, and they shoot like 3 projectiles at you, just in one direction. So that's what these red snakes do. Try and take them out because they're annoying. Yeah, that's about it. Moving on. Let's see. Okay, so now we got the spiders, and we got the snakes. No problem. So just obviously dodge projectiles. Always keep it moving, and you should be fine here. Okay, these are the cacti monsters, or just cactus peoples. They shoot tornadoes, but they make it very obvious, like the archers from the last world. So the red beam is essentially their aim. Just move out of the way, and you should have no problems with them. Their tornado actually hits for some significant damage, so you don't want to get hit by it. Okay, so now we got the angel here. We're going to attack speed minor. I'm at full health. There's no reason for me to get the health. Alright, this is a level 6, so just, obviously, you're going to move out of the way. See, as soon as you see that line of sight coming at you, move. Okay, now, here we are. See, I'm moving progressively faster, because we don't need to go over all of the details, my guys, and my girls, and my whatever else is who'd be watching this video. You know, sometimes it just be that way. We can just glide through this, because you guys don't have the fundamentals in place. And if you don't have the fundamentals in place, I need you to do something. I need you to smash like on this video and subscribe, and then watch the other video, because then you'll get the fundamentals in place. Have you smashed like yet? Okay, make sure you please do that, because it really helps out the video, so that more people can watch Archero and become better at it. Or watch these Archero videos. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. So, 3 new power-ups we got here. Strong Heart, what it does is, increases your red heart healing. Freeze and Shield Guard. Freeze is good to have because it will actually work on bosses and will potentially stop their projectiles, which can give you a split second of just getting out of the way so that you don't take damage. And there's Shield Guard. Now, normally I would recommend that you kind of get Shield Guard, especially when you're starting out. But for me, as I'm detailing these levels, and as I get to the later playthroughs, you're going to see that I actually grab the Shield Guard. But since I'm so overpowered for this level, I'm just trying to get through this quickly. I'm not going to grab Shield Guard, because I'm going to go for more of an offensive aggro kind of build. Just so I can get through the level, show you, and get to the bosses, and help you get through them quickly. So I'm going to go with Freeze. But I would recommend getting Shield, especially in this level, so that you can learn the enemy's tactics. Alright, so these are the mummies. I killed them way too quickly for you to actually see what they do, but there is a boss mummy, so you should be able to see their attacks. But what the mummy does is it shoots out a tornado that goes in a zigzag direction, which, when there's too many mummies on screen, can kind of be confusing on how to dodge their attacks exactly. But essentially what you want to do is you want to kind of go to the right or the left when the tornado moves, and then kind of move forward, and you should be able to dodge their tornadoes pretty easily. The tornadoes, just like the cactus tornadoes, they actually kind of hit for some significant damage, so you don't want to get hit by them. So there you can see, the tornadoes thankfully move pretty slow. I actually got hit by that, see? But, yeah, so you want to get rid of the mummies, because in this stage, they are actually probably more dangerous than the snakes, because of the damage output and because of the volatility of the tornadoes, because it moves in a zigzag pattern, and if you have other enemies on the screen, you're potentially going to take damage. Okay, treasure chest. So now we're coming up on a boss fight, and we just leveled up. So rear arrow, out of all of the arrow upgrades, I think is the weakest, because it's not really that effective. You shouldn't be having your back face towards enemies, generally speaking, and that's only going to happen if there's a lot of enemies on the screen. So I don't recommend that unless you have a bouncy wall, and for my builds with the boomerang, I try not to do the bouncy wall. So I'm actually going to go with the attack speed boost, because I don't feel like I need the HP, and especially since I just got the heart right there. So I'm going to do attack speed boost, because that will help me kill the enemies faster. So this boss is a snake boss, and you're going to see this boss actually a lot. This boss, generally speaking, will, and of course I didn't get damaged, so I get a devil instead of the roulette wheel. It burrows like all the other snakes, but it also will, generally speaking, shoot 2 fireballs when it reemerges. So just make sure you're quick on the diagonal on the on diagonal D-pad, whatever, just move in any direction, to get out of the way of those fireballs because they hit for significant damage, and if you stand still, you're going to take burn damage from standing in the fire. Fire is bad. I think we all can come to a common agreement that that is not good. And then it will usually shoot. It can shoot a volley. You didn't see it happen because the volley didn't happen because I killed the snake too quick, the giant snake. But the volley is just like the giant carnivorous plant from the last world. Stay far enough back, and you should have no problems avoiding the volley of. They look like little red bouncy balls. What they're shooting out. I don't know why the projectiles look like that. They look like little kids' toys. Anyway. And then it will also switch between that and a 3. It will also switch, but it will also switch between. It will also switch. It will also switch between that and shooting out 3 diagonal projectiles. It will also switch. Okay. It will also switch between that and shooting out 3 diagonal projectiles or 4 diagonal projectiles. So then just be quick on the trigger, move in between, you should have no problems. So this is an example of one deal you should never take from the devil, no matter how high health you got and how many HP boosts you got, because it's literally useless, and it's the Water Walker. What it allows you to do is that it will register in the game that that the water is actually a space you can walk on. That's literally all it does. It does not protect you from projectiles. If a projectile hovers over a water space, I'm using air quotes here, you can't see me, then you still get hit by it. Enemies can't walk on the water though, so you technically have protection, but I mean a melee, especially if it's a small water spot, they're going to be able to hit you anyway. So it's really not worth trading off the, like, what is it? The 20% HP, I think, is essentially what it scales to. Okay, so these are another type of snake. They actually do swarm you, and then they are very slow, but then when they get in range, they kind of leap at you really quickly. So just be quick on the trigger, and you should have no problem avoiding them. Okay, this is a ring monster. I have no other way of describing what it is, but what it does is, and there's multiple ring monsters in this game, each getting progressively harder. This ring monster will put electric symbols on the ground, and if you're in the spot where the electric symbol is, after about 2 seconds, you'll get zapped, and it will do a moderate amount of damage. So just be aware of the screen and just move away from the electric spots. You should have no problem. Okay, so no new enemies here, so I have nothing else to say. Okay, we leveled up. So headshot. What headshot does is it gives you a small percentage. I don't know actually what the percentage is, but it will give you a small percentage to instantly kill an enemy. It is not priority to me in most of my builds. I only get it if there's other junk spells and talents and skills, whatever these things are called. Skills, I think they're called. To grab. I will grab headshot. In this build right here that I'm going for, and in this particular level, what I'm going to opt for is front arrow, because side arrow is almost as useless as rear arrow, but rear arrow takes the cake, because there shouldn't be enemies on your side anyway, so it's not going to really be advantageous unless you have a bouncy wall. Front arrow, however, you're going to usually be facing your enemies, and it's more convenient for you to then essentially do double damage. Actually, I'm doing like quadruple damage when you really calculate that. I'm doing multi-shot, so with the front arrow, I'll be shooting, without multi-shot, I'd be shooting 2 arrows in the front, but now with multi-shot, I'm shooting 4 arrows, like every second when I'm standing still, so I'm going to do front arrow. Okay, so there, I just wanted to make sure you can see what those little lightning bolts look like on the ground. That's why I waited to kill them, but no challenge there. Strong heart, we're at full health. Remember, an angel every 5 levels in most worlds. Okay, the basilisk is a really annoying enemy and is extremely easy for me at my level, but gave me a lot of problems when I was actually playing this world when I was on World 2. And I think this enemy definitely gives a lot of people problems. What the basilisk does is it just walks around for a bit, and then it will shoot fire, and this fire can actually go through objects, as you've seen. So if you're close to the fire, you're not protected by hiding behind an object. It will actually burn you. So you want to be constantly moving to avoid the Basilic's frame, and you should be okay. So now you can see this is where the game starts to get a little harder. And now even on my level, without me being like really cognizant of my surroundings, I can actually take some minimal damage. So again, it was Basilic's Flame because it's annoying. We're not doing Death Bomb because it's not going to work for my build. The enemies die too quick, and the range of the Death Bomb is not helpful. I already talked about Rear Arrow, so we're doing Attack Boost. So again, try and take out the Basilics fast. The snakes, Basilics in this room would definitely be priority. The snakes don't hurt as much as the Basilic's Flame do. Okay, so now we're coming up on another boss. So this is the red spider. It splits into smaller spiders, and the spiders actually are very aggro, and they will actually come to try and get close to you and kill you. We're not taking Water Walker. So the big spider will shoot a circular projectile. When it splits into two smaller spiders, those two smaller spiders will also shoot a circular projectile. Once you split them again into the three baby spiders, which is like its final split, those only shoot a 4 diagonal wide, not in a cross in the other shape. A star, like a star. They shoot a star. That's what the shape would be. Yeah, I would say that's a star. They shoot a star of projectiles, and that's much easier to avoid because you just kind of go through the middle and you'll be fine. So that's best advice I can have for that boss. As with all my advice, don't stand still for too long, and you should be fine. This is the new version of the Living Bomb. They're more annoying because their bombs, not only do they target you, but they leave flame damage on the ground, just like the giant snake. So you can't really stand still if you want to beat them. Okay, so not doing Death Nova. Don't think doing Strongheart. We're doing HP boost. So hopefully if I beat the next boss without taking damage, all should be well, and I can actually trade that HP, and it was like I never even lost any HP in the first place because I just go back to baseline. And hopefully I get a good skill. However, if he gives me Water Walker, I'm not taking that. So, that is that. And now I'm probably just going to cut footage until the next enemy, new type arrives, or I get to a boss, whatever comes first. So, real quick, arrived an angel, attack boost. Okay, I leveled up, so we've been offered Poison Circle, Attack Speed Boost, and Rear Arrow. For my build, again, don't do the circular spells unless there's absolute garbage and there's nothing else, or if you get 3 circular spells to pick from, pick one of them. Because you have no choice, you gotta take an upgrade. I'm gonna go with Attack Speed Boost because Rear Arrow is garbage. Okay, so now we're at the boss. So it's like the first world. Instead of having one giant red skull, you now have 2. So when you're playing this world, what will kill you on this boss fight is literally just messing up from the fight taking too long. Because with me, I do so much damage, I kill them so quick. But when you're first playing this world, you're probably not going to be that powerful in your weapons. So it's going to just be you making mistakes, and there being so many enemies on screen, you just walk into them, take a lot of collision damage, and die. So really just be, and that's why you should choose good upgrades, but just be very aware of your surroundings and try and stay close to the walls, I would say, because they bounce off of the walls. Whereas if you're in the middle of the room, more of them can come at you. But if you're at the wall, if they kind of come to the wall, they're going to bounce off, and you should be able to avoid most of the collision damage. So we finally get a roulette wheel. Now, this is like where I usually end up getting like the fire spell or whatever, because it's just a random talent that's on the board and it's free to me. So like, the game wants to give it to me, fine, I'll take it. But you have coins. You have 2 coins. The white little coin, it gives you the least amount of coins, and thus it also correlates to your level, so it only doesn't move the level up bar too much. And also that scales depending on what level you're at. So I'm level 8, so it's probably not going to do much anyway. The green 2 coins gives a little bit more, and then the 3 coins gives the most, and usually will give you like half of a level up. Then you have a heal, which is the plus sign, and then you have 2 talents, or you have 1 talent / skill, and then you have, yeah, I guess I would say that the other thing is a talent. So you have like a crit boost, and then you have a skill. So really, it's random. I wish I had a formula for like, if you hit the wheel as soon as it pops up, you'll more likely get something, but I think it's really just RNG, so you have no control over it. So we got the little bit higher coins, so that should probably push me to a level up. Now, this is something that you get once per day. You can watch an ad and get coins, gems. So I'm going to actually go ahead and say yes to the ad, but I'm going to cut it out because, you know, their ads aren't sponsoring me, so why should they get free advertisement? Even if only one person watches, that's still one extra person. So I am not letting them have that right to my video. So I'm just going to spin the wheel and then cut. Alright, we got 800 coins. Okay, moving on. No new enemies. So I'll check back in with... I should be leveling up here, so we'll actually go over the skills. And then otherwise I'm going to cut until I get to an enemy or a boss or something. Okay, so for my build, I'm not doing Ricochet. Although, actually, you know what? I will get Ricochet just to show everyone Ricochet. In case they're just starting playing and they haven't gotten that skill. I'm not getting rear arrow. It won't really make a difference. So as you can see, it just bounces. But it does less damage than if they were just hit normally. So that's why I don't usually get Ricochet with the boomerang. I would do it with every other weapon, though. It's a very invaluable skill. But when this thing already pierces enemies, it's just beneficial to skip it. Especially when you get the epic version, which does return damage double. Attack speed minor from an angel. Okay, we leveled up. This is level 38, so I'm going to actually go to Poison Touch, because it's good to have a little bit of burn damage. Okay, so this is the boss of level 40, so it does 3 tornadoes. I actually have a trick here. If you just stand in this corner, no matter what level you are, you're going to be able to kill him, because due to his angle, even with him moving, for some reason, the tornadoes just don't hit in this corner. And if he's somehow too close, just move to this corner. There you go. You'll beat him every time. That's legitimate advice that you have gotten from a pro Archero player to beat the giant mummy boss. We're going to attack speed boost. Again, cutting out the ad. Cool, another 800 coins. Level 45, an angel. I'm at max health, so we're going to go with the Crit Master Miner. So now this is definitely where people would start having trouble, I can tell. And so just pay attention to my strategy. Utilize the obstacles to your advantage so that it blocks their projectiles as much as possible. And yeah, like now you can see that it gets crazy on the screen, and now you can see why I am not a fan of having too many arrows or getting the holy touch, because it's gonna just make the screen crazier. And with so many enemies on screen, and then your arrows hitting everything, there's too much to keep track of. You're gonna take damage. And in later levels, when the enemies do like significant damage, like you die in 5 hits, you don't want to be taking those kind of hits. So avoid screen clutter. All right, smart. I'm at level max. Literally useless. That's why smart is such a useless talent, because it's not like you can level up an extra level or anything like that. And usually when you hit level max, you're by the end of the chapter anyway. But smart would be useless because it can't level up anymore, so what's it going to even do? Rear arrow is garbage. Bloodthirst, I realized in my last video I did not go over what this does. When you're just starting out and you're trying to learn the tactics of the enemies of the level, I think it is a good skill to have, because it can enable you to survive just a little bit more, to study. What Bloodthirst does is it proportionally gives, and I think it has to do with scaling of your actual HP. Whenever you kill an enemy, it gives you like 30 or 40 HP per kill. And so it's alright. When you're building more defensive builds, I guess it's okay to include, and if there's nothing else, get Bloodthirst. But for me, with being max health and this being so easy, I'm not going to go for Bloodthirst. And in later levels, that 30 or 40 health is really not going to actually make the difference from you surviving an attack or not. So I think it's kind of useless in the later levels. In early levels, maybe not so bad, and it helps you gain strategy. So I'm going to go with Rear Arrow. Even though I think it's junk, it's the least junk out of this selection for me. So now we're on the last one. This is definitely the second to last. You can see small room, lots of basilisks. You could die pretty easily, but they don't know that I'm packing heat, because I got the epic boomerang with all the epic gear, and I have a multitude of arrows shooting at them. They have no chance. So the last boss of this world is the cacti monster. So he jumps around and shoots. He might actually be the first challenge to actually not die basically instantly, but he'll shoot out 3 beams of targeting in order to hit you. So just stay in the middle and should be fine. When he starts doing this move, you want to, well, obviously you don't want to be in his line of sight. Now he's doing the moonwalk across the stage. That's actually interesting. I broke the game. But looks like I broke the game. Okay. Anyway, so when he's doing this move, try and explain this. Just keep moving. Don't stand still. That's the only way you can avoid it. But no problem for me. He's dead. He's the first one to take me that low in health, where I actually might have died if I would have just started messing around. But that is my advice to you to beat the cactus monster, is keep moving when he starts doing the tornado balls, rapid fire. Some of them will actually hit you. It's even for me, being skilled at this game, it's kind of hard to avoid them. When he does the diagonal beam, just stay in the middle. He shoots those faster than the regular cacti. Like, he only gives you a split second to decide, and then he jumps. So if you're agile in the stage, you shouldn't have a problem with him. What will get you, as it will get you in most of the stages, is that you're just bound to slip up given enough time. So if you're not putting enough damage output, you're just going to mess up regardless, and then you're going to take damage. So that's it. That's all I got to say about this one. So see, much quicker, and we can start having more fun. I can start chatting with you guys when I don't have to narrate how to play as well. But I want to get you guys so much better. I want you guys to get better at this game. It's such a fun game. So I'm having fun teaching you guys how to get better and the skills I use and the way I play and my play style. So I can see that when it says this, 75% of players, I want to see that number lower. Meaning like I didn't beat as many players, if that makes sense. And then I know that like I'm kind of helping with that. But of course, people need to watch my video, so you need to subscribe and you need to like in order for that to happen. So that needs to happen. So please make sure you do that. It really helps me out. It motivates me to put out another video. But yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Leave a comment if you have any questions about particular builds or setups or skills. I'd be happy to try and answer them. But yeah, man, now it's going to get smooth sailing. As I have to explain less and less, we can actually chat and have a little conversation as we play. And eventually we're going to get to the Barons of Shadow. And then it's going to actually be me commentating and playing on the game because I can't beat that stage. So that's going to take multiple attempts. Alright, take care. See you guys next time.